Right, and welcome to Mad Markets, Paul. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, hello.
Super committee, we're all focusing on them. We've got an amazing deadline later on this week. Do you think they can actually get it done and agree on the $1.2 trillion
I think the answer to that is no already, because the deadline is apparently right now. Because in terms of the Congress, you have to get your paperwork in so something can be voted on in a day or two's time. So I think the fact of the matter is that's not going to happen. But the reason it's not going to happen is because the Republicans and Democrats, who now can never agree on anything, apparently prefer the idea of the automatic cuts. But I think the market is selling off because it's like, can Congress be any worse? These people can't do anything. The politics is so bad. What does this mean about a possible default?
It's been building up for quite some time because we couldn't decide on the debt ceiling. The Europeans can't really decide in terms of what's going on there. They're slightly better. But this is the point, that politics perhaps in a sense is failing us.
It is, because, you know, the idea that sort of technocrats that know what's right has been replaced with the idea that there's politics in everything. But, you know, I think that's the real world. We know people are well organized. We know that politicians like to get re-elected. But I think always what happens in politics is not so much always what's on the front page of the newspaper, but how the debate is changing and being shifted. So I'm not too negative about this. We'll have to wait and see where the market finds a level. Yeah. We'll see.
So I found a trend within the new prime ministers in Greece, Papademos Papandreou, okay, and then Mario Rajoy,
yes.
new prime minister of Spain,
okay,
Spain. And Mario Monti, the new prime minister of Italy,
yes.
and then Mario Draghi, the new ECB president, but it's Mariano.
Oh, it's close
Spain,
enough.
It's close enough.
Super Mariano has been elected in Spain. But, you know, Spain is the quintessential European country. It had an economy which boomed, and it got into trouble because it had a lot of construction. Yeah. Some people say needless down there on the coast and all of that. But it's bought in fully to the euro. Its people are fully Europeanized. Its companies are moving everywhere. So for me, it's another example of where the politics is in some senses secondary to the big project of maintenance of the European Union. So, you know, I know I've been saying this like a boring old record for the whole year, but the Eurozone is not going to collapse. And
but Warren
countries
Buffett
like
thinks
Spain,
that is now in doubt. That it
yeah,
might
well,
just
I don't know.
collapse.
Maybe he's jet lagged from his trip to Japan or something.
Well, you agree with him on some of his investments, perhaps. Well, it's interesting. You're just selective, right? African Bank.
Ah, yes, finally, one of my favorite companies, results out this morning. But, you know, the thought struck me, for those that get irritated with the way that the only sector which expands in our economy is the public sector, and the public sector workers have had all these massive increases. Well, there's one way to get your own back, and that is to actually buy African Bank shares, because African Bank's target clientele, like it stands out like a sore thumb, are in fact public sector workers. So it's everybody that's coming in and getting their first 10,000 Rand a month job at the prisons or the police or whatever.
Okay, and we know that you hold African Bank, so we've got to declare that. What about Capitec? Why not buy into the Capitec story? They operate in the same space.
Exactly. I do not have anything negative to say about Capitec. Great company, well
the fact
built.
That you didn't buy it on time and you've missed on the rally.
Now, apart from the fact that its share price is very elevated relative to its growth prospects. Yes. So in other words, you know, it certainly has done well off a good low base, but it starts looking a bit toasty when it trades northwards or around 200 Rand a share, given that people expect the growth just to carry on growing.